We have seen what happened in Syria on the immediate neighborhood. Uh, how do you see, because the forces that came to power there, they are also not very friendly to Israel, as it was trying to, some people were trying to propagate it on social media. The narrative was trying to be built in India. Um, One, your opinion on that, and secondly, India has also been a victim of terrorism from Iran. If we go to the history, a lot of invaders came from there, killing millions of people. I mean, the mountains were made out of Indian skulls. So, but in India, it was like washed off from the history. It was never taught to people, like, because some domestic compulsions. But Iran at a global level, like if we talk about Israel, we can talk about what Israel has done with drip irrigation technology, what Israel has done with desalining the seawater. What we have seen that Israel has done in terms of information technology. Is, I mean, PhDs, Nobel Peace, like Nobel prizes in science and technology, so many things to count on. But when we talk about the regime in Iran, we get to know about, okay, there is Hezbollah, there is Islamic Jihad, there's support for all sorts of Houthis. And do you think that despite doing all that, Iran has been successful in infiltrating Western or institutions all around the world, universities, media, and everywhere, where they can sell being a victim when they are actually the perpetrators of the worst kind of terrorism, because they have got their apologists well placed in the places where it matters?
Okay. So first of all, studying history is important. If you want to, sort of say, put your history under the rug in order to create a nice feeling, it's not going to serve your interest. Learn your history well. There are many lessons that you can draw from history to try to prevent the mistakes that you did in the past. And we made many mistakes we have to learn from. That's number one. Look, what the radical forces have as an advantage is that they can concentrate their zealousness, in a certain way with a certain population at a certain point of time. And it has advantages that we find difficult to cope with, especially when this radicalism is accompanied with sophisticated technology. Okay? When I was a young student, I had to pay for my studies, so I went to be a security guard at the airport. And when it comes to dealing with threats, we were taught that if you have to identify a person that might that may constitute a threat and you have to neutralize it, depends on two things. It depends on the means that they have, and it means on the intentions that they have. If a person enters an airport with a firearm, if he's a policeman and he has intentions to keeping the safety of the place, it's not dangerous, right? But if a person enters with the intention to killing somebody else, it doesn't matter if they have a knife or a gun, or they are a dangerous person that you have to neutralize. The same happens with the radicals. If you have a radical person that is motivated to kill you, so you have to assess the level of threat, not according to the intention only, but in terms of what is the sophistication of the weapons that they have. So the radicals have different kinds of weapons. In the case of Iran, we had an issue because of the fact that Iran is a pretty sophisticated country when it comes to technology development. And they have managed not only to produce themselves these ballistic missiles and drones, but also to export these capabilities to other terrorist organizations in the region. So the West Asia or the Middle East is the only place in the world in which terrorist organizations have more sophisticated weapons than regular armies have in other parts of the world. So imagine that the Houthis have ballistic missiles. Imagine what would happen in your part of the world if the terrorist organizations had such weapons. It's a very, very difficult problem.
We already have that. On our western border, they have nuclear weapons.
Yes, but it's a state
But
player.
it's a state, yes.
I'm talking about terrorist organizations.
Yes.
The fact that state players use terrorist organizations as proxies is a very severe problem. Imagine that a state player would transfer the nuclear weapons and the means to produce them to a terrorist organization. Then you are in a big trouble. So, going back to Syria, before this new regime came to power, you had a situation in which the Iranians were proliferating weapons and the means to produce them to Hezbollah, to the Assad regime. And you had in Lebanon an accumulation of 150,000 rockets aimed at Israel. It was a huge challenge we had to deal with. Okay? As a result of the fact that we managed to defeat Hezbollah, you have a change, a political change in Lebanon. You have a new government in Lebanon. Hezbollah is not completely destroyed, but it's under a lot of pressure from the other political groups. So there's a new order in Lebanon. And Israel enjoys freedom of action to defend itself against Hezbollah. In the past, the threat of 150,000 missiles was such that Israel hesitated to defend itself, and we had a problem to implement the offensive-defensive approach, after which you name your program. Okay? Now, we can do it, thanks to the success of our military and security establishment. As a result of that defeat of Hezbollah, Syria changed as well. So although the new regime, when it comes to intentions, is very problematic, when it comes to capabilities, they haven't accumulated yet the capabilities they would like to have in order to be hostile towards us. And we want to keep it that way. Either that they change course when it comes to ideology, or that we will continue taking action to prevent them from accumulating such threats near our borders. This is our policy.
थैंक यू सो मच दोस्तों, आपने अभी तक ये क्लिप देखी, लेकिन अगर आप पूरी वीडियो देखना चाहते हैं तो उसकी डिटेल्स डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में भी है और पिन कमेंट में भी है और आपके स्क्रीन पे भी फ्लैश करेगी। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।